Hey everybody, it's Christine and welcome to day 2 of the Back to School Crafty video series. Today I am joined by Tina Gale and Jen, and they've got some fantastic projects to share with you, so be sure to check out their videos. I am doing a classroom decor, home decor project that involves string art. Now, you're going to see me doing a string art technique, and that doesn't mean it has to go on home decor. It could totally work on a smaller scale for cards or for scrapbook layouts. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do a pencil, and I just cut out a rectangle and then cut out a triangle that coordinated with that, and I have washi taped those down, and I'm going all the way around and just piercing holes along the outline. And I'm piercing the holes everywhere from about a 1/4 inch, I would say, for each spot. And I'm also doing the inside because I'm going to turn this into a pencil, and so I need to have some spots where I can do some inside parts. So that is a real simple shape to recreate with string art. If you want to do something different, you would want to cut it out maybe on an electronic cutting system so that you can have the more detail. Like say if I was doing an apple, which you may or may not see later in the week, I would definitely want to cut it out on an electronic cutting machine. But I felt like a pencil is just a rectangle and triangle. And so what you see me doing now is I am just adding where the eraser and the silver band are going to go on it. And I just decided I'd use a regular old ruler to create those lines. Now, string art. If you're looking at this already and going, what? String art? So complicated. I do have a previous video series where I talked about stitching and string art, so I will link those up down below. String art and hand stitching are something I employ a lot. So one thing I always have ready to go when I am doing string art is washi tape, because I just tape my thread down on the back side. Now I am not going to follow a pattern. I'm not going to have anybody telling me which holes to go in and which ones to come out and all that. I'm just going. I am coming up one hole and I'm going in an opposite direction. And as I go, I will get more of an idea of, okay, I need to do a line in this area to this area, and you just kind of visually see where you've got a lot going on, where you need more going on. And I generally, the only real rule I have is that I go, whatever hole I go down in, I try and come back up close to it, at least in the beginning. And the only reason for that is to save on thread. String art takes quite a bit of floss. It takes way more floss than just back stitching. So you have to be prepared for that. You don't want to try and do a string art project, even a small one, with just a minimal amount of thread. You want to do one that you know you'll have, like you have a whole spool or whatever. So that is definitely an important aspect. So now I have finished up the yellow part of the pencil, and my final step was going around and adding a back stitch all the way around the outline. And that is just to give it some definition. You do not have to do that if you don't want to. That is just a personal preference for me. So now you can see I'm doing the eraser part, which is a much smaller area to work on, so it'll go a little quicker. And obviously I didn't need quite as much floss for that part, but you can see I'm already making a really quick dent in this section. And again, you can see I'm going top to bottom, I'm going top to side, I'm going all over the place in my approach. And like you could see there at the bottom, I've got a lot going on down there already. So now I'm going to try and shift things and shift the direction of the angles I'm going at and all that stuff. Again, no pattern necessary. If you really want one, there are string art patterns all over the place that you could use. I quite frankly just like the look of spontaneity and going with whatever seems to be working for my eye, and I don't like directions generally. I don't know if that tells you something about my personality. It might. But I like to kind of take things my own direction, so that, you know, to each his own. So you can see I finished up that eraser part now, and I am going to now go ahead and just secure it again with washi tape. You can put washi tape all over the place. It's not going to show if you're using thick cardstock. And then I am just going to go ahead and do my back stitching now to finish this whole thing off. And you can see those are big back stitches. Those are not super close together like you might see if I was just doing a project where I had just hand stitching and not any string art. Now, as I wrap that section up, then I'm going to prepare to go on to the top part of the pencil, the pointy part. So this is where the triangle comes in. And here, I have already done the back stitching along the bottom of the yellow there. So you can see I'm not going to need it there on the brown. I'm just going to need it on the angled part of the pencil. And I am using just a lighter, kind of a tan brown color here. I didn't have a perfect match, but I don't think it really has to be a perfect match. Something within reason of what the top of a pencil looks like is certainly appropriate. Now you can see I have done all the triangle, and I'm just adding in the back stitching here, and I'm going to go down both sides. And then at the tip, I'm going to use just a tiny little bit of black and finish it off that way to give it that look of lead. This is super, this is, you know, it's a little time consuming, but it's also not terribly difficult. So now I finished all my string art, and I am going to use my Easy Runner from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L, and I just did a line straight through there where that silver metal band usually goes on your pencil. And now I'm adding on some silver glitter, and this glitter is just some fine glitter from Doodlebug Design. Comes in a nice little bottle. And so I am just securing that on there. The Easy Runner worked beautifully for this part. So easy and no liquid glue. So a little bit mess with glitter than if you're using liquid glue at least. I mean, glitter is glitter. There's no avoiding a total mess. But, so you can see, I added that on. Boom, you've got that metal band. It looks cool, it's unique, it's using a Crafty item. And I also ended up filling in the black tip for the lead with black glitter. Now, I glued this onto this little galvanized sign from Jelly Bean Soup. And then I am just going to add on some letters. These are chipboard letters. They're called chippers from Doodlebug Design. And all I'm going to put on there is time for class. You could pick out whatever you want to put on it. I'm a homeschool mom, so I felt like this is something I could hang up in our homeschool room, and it would be a cute added little piece of decor. I am using my laser square now to just line up those letters so I get them on there nice and straight, so I don't have to do it a second time. And the chipboard seemed to stick pretty well the first time. If I had to pull them off, I would have had to add some additional adhesive, but that worked well for doing it once. And then I'm adding on class, and you can see I dropped my L a little bit just to add a little bit of a twist to things. And that is basically it for today. So just a fun little sign that you can make. Think about string art and think about how you can take it out of the box a little bit. You do not have to do just a heart or a star. You can do fun things like pencils or a schoolhouse or that kind of stuff. Thanks for visiting today. Be sure to visit the other ladies, and here's our prize package. Remember, all you have to do is subscribe and comment. And you can do that as many times as you'd like on everyone's videos this week. See you soon.